So in this session we will talk about visualizing data. So the first thing we will discuss about the scatter plot. So what I have done is I have loaded this library ggplot2, which we will be using to visualize our data. So let me just execute this. And now for this plot, this ggplot2 is not required. In this case we would be using the ggplot2 library, wherein you can see here ggplot, and then we are passing the data frame and other things. Okay, so this is just a plot, and inside this what we are doing, we are passing the iris sepal dot length and iris sepal dot width. Iris is the inbuilt data set which you can use. So let us just visualize this. It will be scatter plot. So let me just execute this line of code, and let me just, okay, and here you can see. So now clearly you can see the scatter plot which we have created, and here in the x-axis you can see the iris dataset sepal dot length and iris dataset sepal dot width, and this is the scatter plot which is getting generated. Okay, now, okay, so now what we will do is we will visualize the scatter plot with the ggplot. So for that you need ggplot2 library, and that's the reason I have written over here library ggplot2, and we had loaded this. Now what you can do is you can just write ggplot, and inside this function you can pass the data frame over here. So in this case we are passing the iris data set, then the aesthetics AES, which is the aesthetics, and inside that we are passing x is equal to petal dot length and y is equal to petal dot width, and then plus, then we are passing the geom point. Okay, so when we do this, a scatter plot with the help of ggplot2 will be created. So let me just execute this again and see here. Let me just show it. Okay, so this is the scatter plot which is getting generated with the help of the library ggplot2. So here we have written this ggplot, and inside this we are using iris dataset. So this is the petal dot length, which is the x-axis, and for y-axis we are using petal dot width, and here you can see we are using geom point for the scatter plot. Now let us say if you want to play around with the shapes, you can definitely do that. So in this case we are not passing anything inside this geom point, but if you want to play around with the shapes, you can do that. In this scenario what we are doing, we are passing the shape is equal to 21, and all these things remain same. This is just the difference, only difference what we have written over here, shape is equal to 21 with regard to this line of code. So let me just show this ggplot, then the dataset aesthetics x is equal to petal dot length, then y is equal to petal dot width, and then plus we are passing this geom point, and inside this we are passing the shape as 21. So let me execute this. So we have executed this with the shape of 21. Here you can see, here you can see the petal dot length and petal dot width here with the shape as 21. Now you can play around with it. You can just increase or decrease the shapes and visualize the data. For example, here you can try with the 22 and 23 just for your understanding. Okay, you can definitely play around with the different shapes and observe the graph, how it behaves. Now what we will do is we'll use size inside geom point. In this case we were using the shape as 21. Now let us do some changes in that, and let us remove this shape is equal to 21, and let me put this size is equal to 1.5. That is the only change with regard to this line of code. So I'll be just executing this again in ggplot. So once this is executed, you can see here you may not see, a vast difference, but in this case we have used the size as 1.5. Again, you can play around with the numbers, you can play around with the size, and you can then observe the output based on the size. Okay. So the next is using again the basic plot. So in this example, this line of code, we are not using the ggplot, the normal plot, wherein we are passing the iris petal dot length, petal dot width, PCH, which is the plot character, and these are the three random values which I have given, 21, 22, and 23. Maybe you can play around with these values again and you can observe the output. Then what I have passed is iris species. BG is equal to red, green, and blue for the three species. Different colors I have passed. Again, here you can change the different colors and observe the output. And then last iris dollar species. So let me execute this plot. So I've executed this and let me observe the output. And here you can see the output. You can see here one error had occurred, but I've just maximized the the screen, and it was fit and it is working now. Okay, so the next example again we'll make use of ggplot, where what we are using is data is again iris data set, and with aesthetics petal dot length and y is petal dot width, and inside this geom point what we are using is aesthetics, again color is equal to species and shape is equal to species. So let me execute this and you would see the output, and let me just put it over here. And see, here you can see the petal dot length and petal dot width. If you want to zoom and see, you can do that. This is the zoom view, petal dot length here, petal dot width, and different species with different colors, Setosa, versicolor, and virginica.